So this is a really nice end to the year. Princess of Wales has not been seen very much. Again, we don't know the extent of the cancer treatment that she has had, other than to know she has had to have extensive cancer treatment, but looking in fine health yesterday, and really nice for the fans to see her, right?
Correct. And if you sort of take pictures from 12 months ago and then you look at the pictures today, you would have thought, well, not much has happened in terms of the way she went about her business yesterday. But obviously it has been a pretty traumatic year for her, as she has overcome and trying to overcome her health problems. The same applies to the King. It is part of the traditional Christmas day for the royal family, the walk to the church, and, you know, it is stage managed. You could see the way it was sort of, you know, the King's first and then Prince William and his wife and family. It's very much a pecking order how you walk to church. You know, it's very much, you know, things are staged managed, but amazing number of people coming from all over the world. It seems there's people from Paris all trying to get an opportunity to wish the Princess of Wales well, and indeed the King. So the optics were good from that point of view. And obviously, if it might have been more complicated, it had the Duke of York been there, because that may have been a distraction and one of the reasons why it was almost insisted upon that he did not come to Sandringham, or certainly, not that he went to Sandringham in the end, but he would never have been allowed on that church walk.
Okay, we'll talk about the Duke of York, Prince Andrew, in just a moment. But so Princess Catherine, the Princess of Wales, she has now finished her cancer treatment. So presumably, health-wise, we are to now believe all is well.
I don't know whether she's finished. Just like the King saying he's continuing his treatment, what extent that the way that Kate's health is, Princess Catherine's health is being managed, I don't know. None of us actually know the full details. But I think we just have to take it on trust that it's great that we're able to see her, as we did not only earlier this month when they recorded the Christmas Carol concert that was broadcast on Christmas Eve, and, you know, and now we've seen her at Christmas, but we probably now won't see her again until the new year. But when, we're not sure. But hopefully this is a sort of leading to more regular appearances on the public stage so that she can go about her business.
Do you think we'll ever know, and I'm talking about here not from a salacious gossip point of view, but from the point of view of Princess Catherine, or indeed the King, using their platform once their treatment is over to perhaps raise awareness? Do you think we'll ever know the kind of cancers that they have suffered from?
Well, I think we're probably fairly aware of where the King's condition, you know, he went in with a prostate problem, and he has been fairly vocal in, you know, that's one of the reasons I think he drew attention to it, not the sort of the nitty-gritty of the details, but in sense trying to put it out there that, you know, and make people aware. So I think the King probably has done it, but in the Princess of Wales's case, excuse me, she felt all things private, and I think it should always remain private unless ultimately she feels there is a need to do so, because she feels she might be able to help other people and draw attention to whatever cancer or whatever issue she's had. But at the moment, she will keep them firmly private.
Now, I'm going to say something controversial here, but I think that he's as thick as two short planks. He has not been smart at all. He's clearly an idiot, and I can come up with more disparaging things to say about him. But I feel a bit sorry for Prince Andrew in as much as every family's got an idiot. Every family's got someone at Christmas that they need to sort of sit with and go and grin and bear. And I completely understand the royals distancing themselves and taking away his duty over his friendship with Jeffrey Epstein in that ridiculous Newsnight interview. Absolutely awful, ridiculous, silly thing for him to have done, and showing no humility. However, the Chinese spy allegation, which appears to be where them ostracising him at Christmas has come from, well, no one in the British government who this alleged Chinese spy, I should say, was hanging out with knew that he was apparently a Chinese spy. you know, he was hanging around the highest echelons of government. Prince Andrew's advisors clearly didn't know that this guy might have had connections to various groups in China that would have compromised his security. So I wonder whether on that particular story he's being a little bit too harshly treated.
I think it's a difficult one because, but he has had a history over his life of injudicious choice of friends. And there is question marks about where he's getting the money to maintain his lifestyle within Royal Lodge. And that probably is all part of the problem, that he's just not picked his friends wisely. And as you say, he's probably not the sharpest tool in the box. So therefore he gets himself into a bit of a problem. And it is rather sad when you see the Duchess of York, his ever loyal ex-wife, putting out an Instagram post, you know, saying, you know, wishing people a happy Christmas, and with the corgis in the background, her sort of, you know, I don't know, quasi-royal message, but showing, you know, a bit of love and empathy. So it is just a bit sad, but it's probably, you've got to look at it and say, well, he has created this mess for his family, and they didn't need the story to be about Prince Andrew walking down to church. They actually wanted the focus to be, as it has been, as you've seen from all the papers, on the King and the Princess of Wales. It would not have been, that would have been the story, because people will want to focus on the bad apple, as he is perceived in many people's eyes.
And you can't get past the fact that he remained friends with a convicted paedophile. I mean, I think whatever way you try and spin that, you can't get past how the stupidity of that. Then, of course, ultimately paying off Virginia Giuffre, though, of course, we should point out that the Duke of York still maintains that there was no wrongdoing on his part and doesn't remember ever meeting her. Final word on the King's speech. He did it on location this year and paid tribute to a lot of health workers, but also a mention of the riots, right?
Indeed. And, you know, he's always having to, a King's speech, or Queen's speech in the late Queen's case, always had to try and be as apolitical as possible. And again, I'm sure some people are saying, well, he's putting his toe in the political waters after talking about the Southport riots. But actually, I think you just have to say that he's not really gone off message in his view, in his eyes, because he's always seen himself as a king of all. And hence the reason why it was in a non-denominational venue. Yes, it's a chapel, but it has not been consecrated, so it represents all faiths. Yes, he's a deeply religious man, a Christian man, but he still understands that he is the king of all faiths in this country in terms of the people are under him in many ways. So that's why it is a difficult area to negotiate. He was clear to thank all the people who have helped him through his cancer, but he tried to mention and trying to talk about peace in our time. He wants to see peace, knowing that there's a lot going on in the world, and his ultimate message is trying to be positive going forward into 2025. It's a very positive message, knowing it's been a pretty negative year for most of us, and including him with his cancer, battling his cancer.